Let us try to understand how to reduce a fraction in its simplest form. A fraction is in simplest form if its numerator and denominator have no common factor except 1. Now the question here is, reduce the following fractions to simplest form. We have two examples here. One is 24 divided by 60. The other one is 36 divided by 54. Now as I have written on the top, a fraction is in the simplest form if its numerator, that means the number on the top, and denominator, the number at the bottom, have no common factor except 1. Well, 1 is always a common factor between any two numbers. So except 1, there should not be any common factor. Then we will say that that fraction is in the simplest form. Now here the fraction is 24 over 60. Now both are even, so I can divide them both by 2. So that way they have a common factor, and the common factor is 2. Now to simplify it means keep on dividing by the common factors until you reach a stage that there is no common factor, right? So we figured out that 2 is a common factor. We can divide by 2, right? Both numerator and denominator. So let's divide by 2 and see what do we get. So we'll divide both numerator and denominator by 2. So that is the first step. And once we divide this by 2, we get 24 divided by 2 is 12 and 60 divided by 2 is 30, right? Half. Well, it is still an even number. Since it is even, we can further divide them by 2, right? So 2 is definitely a common factor. There are other common factors also, but 2 is definitely one of them. We are going in simple steps. We get 6, half of 12, half of 30 is 15. Now, do you think there are any more common factors here? Well, 6 and 15, they have a common factor, and the factor is 3, right? You can divide both by 3. Let's divide them by 3. What do you get? 6 divided by 3 is 2, and 15 divided by 3 is 5. Well, 2 and 5 both are prime numbers, so there is no question of having any common factor. This is indeed the simplest form of 24 over 60. Well, the steps involved were keep on dividing by the common factors. Do you see that? So that is how we do it. Now, as an option, what you can also do at times is you can do it by dividing by a bigger number. For example, we started with 24 over 60, right? 24 over 60. Now, we know both have 12 as a common factor, for example, right? Or we can go with 4 first, right? So we could do it like this also. We can divide both by 4, right? Both are divisible by 4. And then what do we get? 24 divided by 4 is 6. And 60 divided by 4. 4 goes 1 times. And then 5 times in 10, right? And then we can divide this by 3. Both numerator and denominator. And again get the simplest form of the fraction, which is 2 over 5, as we got in the previous case. Correct? So like this, there are different ways of doing it. There is no one particular preferred way of doing it, as convenient, correct? So what comes to your mind? It could be utilized, right? At times, you could also do, if you can find out the highest common factor, that means you started with 24 over 60, right? We could straight away divide both by, let us say 12, right? If I divide them both by 12, what do I get? If I divide them both by 12, I get 12 times 2 is 24, and 12 times 5, this is 12. I'll write 12 here. So if I divide both by 12, in that case, we do get the same answer, which is 2 over 5. So 12 is the highest common factor between the numerator and denominator of the given fraction. So if you divide by the highest common factor, in one step you get your answer, right? So this answer is also called simplified form of a fraction, right? So we say sometimes we also say we have written the fraction in the lowest terms, right? So at times we also say 2 over 5 is in lowest terms, right? That's an alternate way of saying that simplest form is kind of lowest terms. You cannot go further lower than that in case of fractions, correct? So that is how we do it. I hope you understand and appreciate the method. What I would like you to do now is try with 36 over 54. You can try it different ways. You can see both are even. You can do as I did, step by step, dividing them by common factors until and unless you have no other common factor except for 1. So when only 1 is a common factor between numerator and denominator, we'll say this is the simplest form. Okay, so I'll leave this one for you and move on to the next video where we'll solve one more example, and then again I'll give you a practice problem to do, right? So I'll appreciate that you copy the question 36 over 54 and reduce it to the simplest form. Thank you.